You're listening to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream, pre-stream. You're here. Congratulations. This is I, your best buddy Basil, and just wanted to tune in with you here. Thanks for jumping in the stream today, folks. And remember, you're going to want to follow us on multiple locations. That includes twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio, youtube.com/Canary Cry Radio. We're also on D Live and Periscope, all those places. So make sure you've got those at your fingertips, because you never know when something will go wrong. A big old shout out to Big Axe 007 over on YouTube with the first comment of the day. Congratulations there, big man. And it's going to be a little bit of a, I don't know, loosey-goosey show today, folks, because there's a lot of live breaking stuff we're going to be tuning in on. Okay, well, here we go. As always, stay hydrated, and let's get going.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is January 6th, 2021. This is episode 283, and today, Epiphany of Chaos in DC. That's right, and I am your best buddy Basil.
And this is Gonz. Welcome to the podcast where we praise Jesus while reporting the chaos and the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And no other world event is relevant right now except what's going down in Capitol Hill.
The citizens' coup or something.
Yeah, what appears to be a citizen coup. It might a coup. It might be something else. We'll
there's some pretty funky things going on, and we'll be going over that. But yes, it is for future generations listening to this podcast. It is January 6th, 2021, the day you may read about in your history books, where I believe for the first time the the United States Capitol building has been breached by protesters. So we'll be, I don't know, Gonz, you and I, we were just kind of talking about, we have a show planned, but we all need to be prepared to break away and, just keep an eye on what's happening live today.
Yeah, I had a hard time prepping for the show today because of everything breaking live. I think while we were
distractions.
Yeah, while we were getting set up, there was the guy who got shot in the chest allegedly inside the Capitol.
Although
building.
now it was a woman shot in the neck.
A woman shot in the neck. Yeah, story keeps changing. So we'll tackle some of these things, but we'll discuss some of the reason why. And part of it, I've been somewhat pessimistic about the whole situation of this country, like on Twitter and stuff. I've been kind of like, this might be the end of, it's certainly the end of the America that we were, the ideal America that we sort of grew up being told about, the greatness of our country and all that. It seems like it's the end of that era. I mean, I don't know, who knows, but it feels, and a lot of people have been out there pushing this idea that, hey, we have to support, the Trump presidency right now. This is the time to push back, and this is it. We can lose the republic. And my whole take has always been like, this has been going on for like 20. It's the frog in the kettle approach. It's been happening for a long time, and it's almost like blaming the loss of a game in sports, blaming the loss on the last play. When really it's a whole series of things that have happened that led up to that one play at the end. And, you can blame the last play, this happened or that didn't happen or whatever, but that's not really where things were lost. It was lost slowly and methodically for years, generations even, you can say. So, but I'm not totally convinced that the America's completely over. That's not what I'm saying, but certainly because of the situation we're in now, it just seems like It's never going to be the same, Basil. We're living in history in the
Well,
making.
yeah. If nothing else, it's certainly an exciting day today, January
Sure.
6th. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird, man. As usual, I'm going to be reserving any sensationalized attempts at explaining what might be going on.
Aliens are here, and they're the ones that breached the building, the Capitol building.
Yeah. Well, let me see here. What do we have on our plans? Yeah, okay. Well, first of all, before we jump into our first stuff here, Gons, I just want to remind everybody, if you're watching on YouTube or wherever you are, please hit the like button, especially today. It could be very valuable. Every little like takes us one step closer to algorithmic success. Hopefully, letting the show be shared out today by the robot overlords. So if you haven't done that yet, please hit the like button, and thank you very much. So do you want to talk about Epiphany of Chaos first?
Well, Epiphany just in general. Today, January 6th, happens to be the Epiphany holiday, also known as Theophany in the East, is a Christian feast day that celebrates the revelation, or theophany, of God incarnate as Jesus Christ. It says here this is Eastern Christianity that commemorates this. In Western Christianity, it's the adoration of the Magi with subordinate commemorations of the baptism of Jesus and the wedding of Cana. And it just happens to be an interesting day. That's a theophany. The day we celebrate theophany is the day that the U.S. Capitol is breached, and you can say that because Epiphany also means like a sudden, revelation of an idea, not just the God incarnate, but just in general, an epiphany being just a sudden realization, and maybe that's what it's supposed to be across the country.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, it is sort of an epiphanous day for all sorts of reasons. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, good timing, Epiphany.
Yeah, I found this because we're on this story. I was going to do this much later in the show. I think it was technically supposed to be an update, but I'll do it now because it's somewhat relevant, I think. So the Vatican, let me pull up the story real quick. The Vatican, this is UPI.com. Vatican calls off Pope Francis's annual child baptism ceremony. And it says here Pope Francis will not baptize babies at the Sistine Chapel in Vatican on Sunday because of concerns over the coronavirus, his press office said Tuesday. Here's what's really fascinating. St. John Paul II started the tradition of baptizing children in the Sistine Chapel on the Feast of the Baptism of the Lord. Pope Francis baptized 32 infants last year to Vatican employees, born to Vatican employees. So he did 32 of them last year, which means, this is just looking at the numbers here. I don't know if there's any significance, but he decides not to baptize what would be, starting last year, the 33rd born infant in the Vatican.
Ooh.
Maybe it's the Antichrist's baby.
Oh.
He's like, I can't baptize him.
But it got canceled. Yeah, okay. Oh, that was very interesting.
But anyway, just thought I'd throw that in there because it's top of the show. We're talking about the Epiphany. But
yeah.
What did you have? You had something. Did you have anything?
I don't know. Well, we got these updates, these election updates, but also that's kind of everything going on.
Yeah.
So, well, why don't we do this again? I don't want to get too caught up in this, but part of me feels compelled just to put on record, because we are live the day that it's happening, put on record exactly what we're talking about, just in case somebody is just climbing out from underneath a rock, or if somebody in the future tunes into this episode. So mind if I just give a quick little paragraph? I'm over here on pbs.org, where I'm kind of trying to keep an eye on the live stream, just in case something big happens.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I'm just gonna zoom through this real quick. Now remember, this is PBS, so take the bias in mind. But they've had an ongoing live stream here. But it says, "Watch live: pro-Trump violent protesters breach U.S. Capitol, halting Electoral College vote." On Wednesday, the nation will tune in to a dramatic and historic, if mostly symbolic, joint session in Congress. Usually there would be relatively little fanfare over the counting of Electoral College votes by Congress, a necessary step in the presidential election process. But as the electoral votes from each state reach their final destination at the U.S. Capitol, Republicans in both chambers have declared that they will object to the counting of some states where President Donald Trump lost his closest races to President-elect Joe Biden. Here is a look at how this unusual joint session will work and what it could mean. So blah, blah, blah. They, count the electoral votes. There was some back and forth regarding different Republicans who sort of pledged to object to certain states. And then there was a moment there, and I don't know, maybe you have some links to this in the election update section. But Pence, a lot of weight was on the shoulders of Pence I guess he had some, there's a possibility that he could actually enforce, some objections to the electoral votes, and he refused to do so.
Yeah, he came out with a letter. Let me pull up that letter. And yeah, so from what I understand, and I'm not like a constitutional expert of American history or anything like that, but from what I understand, the first couple or the second president after Washington, Adams and Jefferson, they both did similarly kind of not overthrow, but sort of stepped in and declared certain votes illegal, basically, or that they violated the law. So Pence came out with a letter basically stating that, he believes in the Constitution and yada, yada, yada.
Real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I sent you a link here. Office of the President Select is currently speaking about the event if we wanted to tune in.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can get that open.
He's very somber.
Of course. Let's hear what he has to say. Oh, is it just on PBS?
Yes, it's that link I sent you there.
Okay, there's an article. Trying to get the video to play. It's not really playing.
Let me be very clear. The scenes of chaos at the Capitol do not reflect a true America, do not represent who we are. What we're seeing are a small number of extremists.
Oh, boy.
Dedicated to lawlessness.
Oh, jeez.
This is not dissent. It's disorder. It's chaos.
Was he saying this
on sedition
back during the
it must end?
I think he's saying it right now.
I call on this mob to pull back and allow the work of democracy to go forward. You've heard me say before in different contexts, the words of a president matter, no matter how good or bad that president is. At their best, the words of a president can inspire. At their worst, they can incite.
Ooh.
Therefore, I call on President Trump to go on national television now to fulfill his oath and defend the Constitution and demand an end to this siege.
Siege?
Storm the Capitol, to smash windows, to occupy offices, the floor of the United States Senate, rummaging through desks, on the Capitol, on the House of Representatives, threatening the safety of duly elected officials. It's not protest, it's insurrection.
Biden got on this pretty quick.
Wow, yeah.
Ready for this live stream.
Like so many other Americans, I am genuinely shocked and saddened that our nation, so long the beacon of light and hope for democracy, has come to such a dark moment.
You said it was going to be a dark winter.
Through war and strife, America's endured much. And we will endure here, and we will prevail again, and we'll prevail now. The work of the moment and the work of the next 4 years must be the restoration of democracy, of decency, honor, respect, the rule of law.
Yada, yada, yada.
The
This is where he
new
just
world
lists-
order.
Simple decency. The renewal
He does
of
this.
politics.
He'll just sort
It's
of
about
say
solving
a bunch
problems,
of
working out for
good-sounding
one another,
words.
Yeah.
not stoking the flames of hate and chaos.
As if
As I said,
these folks
America's
have
about
never done that.
honor,
Yeah, I know.
decency,
He's
respect,
changed his tune.
tolerance.
Okay.
That's who we are.
Yeah, okay.
That's
All
who
right.
we've always
I
been.
see. He gets into that weird
Certification, the electoral college vote.
Electrical
It's supposed to be a
college?
sacred ritual.
Ooh, it's a ritual.
sacred
We affirm-
ritual.
The purpose is to affirm the majesty
Ooh,
of American democracy.
the majesty. Ugh.
But today's reminder, a painful one, that democracy is fragile, and to preserve it requires people of goodwill, leaders with the courage to stand up, who are devoted not to the pursuit of power, or the personal interest pursuits of their own selfish interest at any cost, but of the common good.
Okay.
Think what our children watching
Yeah,
television.
okay. He's just doing his
Yeah,
thing.
he's doing his children
Good.
watching. Everyone's, this is a horrible moment.
Very interesting, calling it a sacred ritual, the counting of the Electoral College.
Yeah.
Sacred ritual.
The
Huh.
majesty
they're
of democracy.
Certainly not very happy that their sacred ritual has been interrupted.
Well, at this point, seeing how quickly Biden was able to get up there on TV and give us a little speech, I feel like it really was some Asian provocateurs that were breaking in, because there's some footage here. Let me, so we were talking about the Pence letter. Basically, Pence says that he's not going to step in. He's going to let the people decide, which is the point of contention anyway. He's going to let the Senate, play out who gets to, or just affirm or deny the electoral votes and whatnot. So here's a video from inside the Capitol building of smashing buildings or smashing a window. This video has 4.5 million views already. It's about 21 seconds long. And you can hear the PBS reporter in the background that I have the report from. But here it is, real quick. I mean, they have a hammer.
Yeah, this is a view from what looks like an upper level.
Yeah, second
looking
story.
down onto an atrium. Oh, and there goes the window.
Yeah, it looks like a double pane window, but yeah, you can hear the smashing hammer against the window. But that's the thing. Hammer, window, didn't we see that last summer with all the BLM
Oh, you think
stuff?
it's Hammerman?
It could be Hammerman, dark umbrella man.
Hammerman's back.
Yeah, they just instead of the umbrella, they gave him a Trump flag.
Yeah, you know what's interesting, and this is let's just lay it out now. With the Antifa riots and the Black Lives Matter protests and the Chaz and the Seattle and Portland and all those things, there were several times where protesters or rioters took over or breached federal buildings, federal courthouses, as well as state level buildings. And there seemed to be much more defense of those buildings by law enforcement than was encountered today at the Capitol building. And remember, this was not a spontaneous collection of protesters. This January 6th thing has been planned and advertised by the President of the United States for, I don't know, about a month.
Yeah.
He's been calling for this. And it seems they just slipped on in, they knew this was coming. Why was not adequate law enforcement put in place to keep people out of the Capitol building if indeed they wanted to keep people out of the Capitol building? Yeah. And so it's very fishy how easy this was able to be done. PBS had a conversation with one of the protesters. and just asking him
Yeah,
about
I have the
what it
clip.
was like. Do you have a clip?
I
Okay,
do.
play the clip.
I have some of the protesters standing with me who have broken in, and I'm going to do an interview over the phone. Very good. Sir, if you don't mind, you're on air with PBS. Thank you for talking with me. Can you tell me your name?
No, I can't honestly.
Okay. Tell me, I know that you just broke into the U.S. Capitol. That's fine. Tell me why you just took this action.
We're fed up with our politicians.
This is obviously an extreme evidence.
The police shot at us first before we did anything.
Did the police shoot at you today? Are you personally saying you saw the police shoot you? You were shot by a rubber bullet today. Can I see that, please? I do. I see it. Okay. But tell me that you do not think this is violent, breaking into the U.S. Capitol?
Was 1776 violent?
You are saying this is on the same level as the American Revolution.
I approach that. These might be the first stepping stones.
What is your goal here? What are you going to do after you stop talking with me?
I'm going to keep exploring this building. Seeing what yeah, we were just looking for the bathroom and we stumbled up there.
I mean, do you understand that this is something that you're telling people all over America that they should tear down public buildings? Is that a message that you want to send?
If the time comes where you feel like that's necessary, it's in our Constitution that we can raise up against our government.
What is it that has made you so angry? And this is my last question for you. I think people don't understand what is it exactly?
The election was stolen from Donald Trump. That's the main reason most of these people are here. Not me personally, but most of these people Donald Trump did not win the election.
Thank you for talking to me. All right. So these are two of the protesters that have now entered the U.S. Capitol. You can tell it is a mix of anger and also, frankly, just being cavalier about what they themselves are doing, perhaps not understanding the seriousness of action that they've just taken.
There you go.
Well, I think that's a little bit of an assumption. Yeah,
Oh,
very
tons of
interesting.
assumptions by the reporter there.
They don't know how big this is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. There was actually another person that they interviewed who was had breached the Capitol building, and this is paraphrasing, but basically he was describing the process, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we kind of just broke some windows and went in," and she's like, "Oh my gosh, what did you do when you got in there?" He's like, just kind of wandered around. I'd never been in there before. Walked down some hallways, took a look around, and then we just kind of left. We got bored. She's like, "Oh, okay. Well, thanks for the info." So, you really do have an interesting group. It seems like obviously some are there specifically because of the election issues, and I think some are just there for something to do on a Wednesday afternoon.
Well,
and then it sounds like some people are just fed up and ready to. What's funny is this is almost exactly what we heard with different Black Lives Matter or Antifa or whatever protests and riots earlier, except the tone is a little different. Back then it was damage to property is not violence. Doesn't matter which federal courthouse you take over. But now, of course, the tides have turned.
It seems like all that stuff last year was sort of a build-up, a practice run to see what they can pull off here in the Capitol building. But did you notice in the interview there that I played at the very end, the guy that's being interviewed, he's asked, "Why are you here?"
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Well, most people are here because they're upset, because Trump didn't win the election. That's not why I'm here."
Yeah, well, right.
What?
What does that mean?
What does that even mean? Let me try to find that again, because I think that's worth highlighting.
I have some of the. This is my last question for you. I think people don't understand what is it exactly.
The election was stolen from Donald Trump. That's the main reason most of these people are here. Not me personally, but most of these people Donald Trump did not win the election.
There you go. He says it right there. That's why most people are here, because Donald Trump didn't win the election. That's not why I'm here, personally.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Why is he here? That's very interesting.
Then why are you breaking into the Capitol building? Very strange.
Yeah.
So there you go. I mean, it does appear to be Asian provocateurs. It has to be, in my opinion. And plus, there was all kinds of stuff that they were preparing to make it seem like more chaos was descending upon DC, because I was seeing rumors on Twitter. I didn't verify any of this. This is just rumors, just making sure everybody out there knows that some of the map apps were shutting down around DC, so people didn't know exactly. They couldn't pull up an app to know where to go. Other reports of all the businesses in that area and hotels shutting down to make sure people can't stay and stuff like that. It's just all the preparation to stage. Oh, look at the Trump, to verify, because they've been trying for 4 years to verify this idea that white supremacist Trump supporters are all violent, chaotic, whatever. And this is kind of the culmination point of like, see, now we're seeing it. Now look what you've done there. They're breaking into the Capitol building, and chaos ensues and people are shot and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
Even that picture, you sent me a picture of.
Yeah, I was going to say that might be a good time to pull that up. I got this off of a tweet from someone. It's a picture that's floating around. It was a Black Lives Matter person who made a post regarding, white supremacy and how Trump supporters can do this, but if it was a black person, then it wouldn't. You couldn't do it. But look at that, pull that photo up there. And we heard this on the PBS live stream where, they made it all the way into the, what is it? What is the room called? What is that called? Congressional Hall or whatever.
Yeah, the hall.
Like the amphitheater where legislation is passed. And this guy, he's an Antifa looking guy. Does not, what?
The chamber, but go ahead. Yeah.
The chamber. Yeah. He looks like an Antifa guy. He doesn't look like I don't know what your standard Trump protester might look like. There's no MAGA hat. It would have been a much better picture if he was wearing a MAGA hat carrying a Trump flag and stuff like that. But no, in classic, as we've seen with Antifa participation, all black, gloves, beanie, a scarf, like big baggy scarf. And this guy made it and sat in the speaker's chair there in the chamber. Which is very interesting. Made it pretty far in. But yeah, this does not look like a Trump protester. Yeah. I mean, I think most, Trump enthusists probably would not
sport
wear
a little
big
more
baggy scarf.
Well, it's pretty cold out there, so the other part that was funny from the PBS report is that there was an anchor saying, "Oh, all these people, nobody's wearing masks," and she's wearing a mask reporting, and then there's like people walking behind her wearing masks. So it's like a really bad look. Someone's gonna snip that and make it a thing. But there's also this video that was sent to me by Tim Kilkenny. This is also getting around Twitter and whatnot. But this is the video from the chamber. It's 15 seconds long, and it shows somebody with a video camera. These police officers have put up what looks like a couch or like a desk or something to keep protesters out. You can kind of hear what's going on in here, but it's more of a visual situation. It zooms in. Let me try to zoom in here for those of you watching. You see some police officers and some people here. Literally, I don't know what that is. Is that a desk? Looks kind of like a stand-up piano or something, but they're putting it in front of the door so the protesters don't get in. This is like the alien invasion movies, You make sure the aliens don't get in.
Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty wild.
That's weird. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 law enforcement. I can't tell if they're cops or security guards.
There's at least one that's got looks like a police.
Yeah,
outfit,
it looks like there's about four law enforcement officers, and then just one guy in a suit, and they're
and a cowboy hat,
just like making the last stand in
that's
the
what
chamber.
It looks like.
There, it's very curious why. What they? If I was those guys and I had a mob of protesters trying to break into a room, I'd probably just slip out the back door. I don't know why they're so intent on protecting the chamber, but it obviously didn't work, as we can see with the hipster who made it into the seat of the speaker. Okay, so let's see, what else was there here?
So yeah, part of man, there's a lot of like surrounding stories and reports of the reason why we're seeing so much chaos here and division. And did you want to talk about? Oh, you know what? Let's play this real quick because this is another twist, another angle to the situation that's curious. And I like this clip for multiple reasons. One being the threat itself and the story, but the other being who is actually reporting this report. Hold on. Come on, computer. Okay. There's a lot of things happening, a lot of windows and a lot of videos.
Sorry,
and
I'm
stuff.
I'm kind of keeping an eye on the live stuff too to see if something needs to come in.
Is that you in the background?
Can you hear that? Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't think I had that piped in. You can hear when I play that video?
I can. Yes.
Oh, whoops. Sorry. I thought I was being sneaky.
I have super ears though. Okay, so this is video from ABC. Air traffic controllers of New York received alleged threats by telephone that speak of crashing a plane against the Capitol in Washington, D.C. tomorrow, which is today.
Oh, right.
Avenge Qasem Soleimani. So let me play it. And this is one of my favorite anchor reporters just for his cadence.
The chilling threat, obtained exclusively by CBS News, was heard by multiple air traffic controllers on Monday afternoon in New York.
We are flying a plane into the Capitol Wednesday. Soleimani will be avenged.
Sources tell CBS News the Pentagon and other agencies were briefed today about the digitized voice recording and believe it was designed to suggest hitting the Capitol on the same day Congress is set to count the Electoral College.
Yeah, so there it is.
Interesting. If it was revenge for Soleimani, why would they care about crashing into the Capitol building while the electoral votes were being counted?
I know, that makes no sense.
Yeah, the Soleimani assassination happened under Trump's watch, so why would they want to interrupt Trump losing the presidency?
Well, because down with America. Doesn't matter who's coming in charge next. But
well, shoot. Yeah, I really... was there any more information on that? Is that...
Not really.
That would really make for an exciting live moment that I don't want to happen. But now you got me all freaked out waiting to see a plane crash into the Capitol building.
That's next level if that happens live on air. But I don't think that's going to happen. Digitized threat, that can be from anybody. It can be from anywhere. It can be, and New York air traffic, which is strange. It's almost like, the PSYOP, using the PSYOP of 9/11 to create that, reopen those trauma, memories from 9/11. Just, I don't know, New York. Why do it in New York? I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah, I don't know. There were some interesting other little tidbits that came out during the live broadcast stuff that we've been keeping an eye on, including, oh shoot, sorry, I'm trying to pull something up to help
drop
out.
it in the doc too, because then if you drop it in Skype, the link covers your face and your beautiful googly eyes and
Yamiche Ausendor. There was some interesting reporting from Yamiche over on PBS where all this crazy stuff was happening.
Trump talking? Hold on. Sorry.
Oh, I don't see it. No.
Oh. I know your pain.
President Trump, in a tweet just came out shortly ago, the president telling his supporters to go home, and all of them will have to go home. There is a 6 p.m. curfew in effect in the nation's capital. Greta?
Tweeting out at about 4:24 this afternoon on the East Coast. My prayers are with the officers that are protecting and defending and who have gone down. Mr. President, tell your supporters to stop the violence, stop the assault.
Okay, whatever. That I thought I saw him. It was him for a moment, and then they cut away from him.
Well, it sounded like it was him.
Yeah, it was for a moment, but I don't know. I don't know why they cut away. Let me see if I can find. Anyway, go on. Sorry, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
That's like all of today's show.
He has a new video on his Twitter from 2 hours ago. I don't know if that's Of course, there's a little tag on it. This claim of election fraud is disputed. The tweet can't be replied to, retweeted, liked due to risk of violence. Ooh, violence. I forgot what I was going to go into. So let's. What is this Rebel 11 you have here?
Here we go. This video is from 12 minutes ago. This minute-long video from Trump. Let me play that.
Was it the response from Biden calling him out?
No. I don't know. Let's see.
Okay.
Oh, where's the volume?
I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened, where they could take it away from all of us, from me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel. But go home and go home in peace.
Interesting.
Okay. Well, there you go. I mean, he has to say that for a lot of reasons. Yeah. And yeah, I hope things don't get too riled up too. That was that might have been the most succinct message I've ever heard from Trump.
Trump bringing it together. Just a couple weeks before he's supposed to. Yeah, 1 minute long.
That he called the protesters special. We love you. You're very special.
Yeah, it's funny how he said don't play into it, because it's almost like
that was an interesting little twist, wasn't it?
Right, because what if, I mean, it could be him playing, if you accept the fact that it was his supporters that broke into the Capitol building. Yeah, and he's kind of playing into the plot too, you know.
Well, see, and that's the weird thing. That's kind of a tricky little trick he's talking about. I mean, he was the one who called for everybody to show up on January 6th.
Yeah,
it was his plan, or maybe plan is too much of a he's giving it too much credit, but it was him who told everybody to go out there, and then suddenly he's telling them not to fall into the forget the exact word, but he's making it sound like they've been manipulated by the other side to show up and break into the Capitol building.
Well, that's the thing. Okay, so let me mention this, because I was watching the PBS live as you know, before everything happened in terms of breaking in, and a lot of the pictures that the video was showing was just, you know, yeah, there was a lot of people all crowded up and stuff, but it looked fairly peaceful. Like, people weren't trying to break in. They were all crowded on the steps of the Capitol building, but certainly not. It didn't look like they were trying to break in. They're just waving their Trump flags and whatever.
Right.
But the anchor kept saying, "We don't know what they're planning to do. They're trying to break in. I don't know what their plan is." And it was just kind of like, the imagery you guys are showing is not coinciding with the narrative, the rhetoric that the reporters are throwing out there.
And that's when the agent provocateurs come in.
Right. And it was almost timed perfectly.
Nice, you know, showing up in big numbers to have a protest. And then again, I can't get over the guy who sat in the speaker's chair, made it all the way in. You can't see his legs, but you guarantee there's skinny jeans on that guy. Like, it looks like I'm not even going to say like an official Antifa person, but at least the agent provocateurs that we saw with some of the more violent aspects of Black Lives Matter and Antifa rallies
last year.
So I'm very suspicious of that.
I got another screenshot from PBS Live NewsHour. And it's the anchor. She's got one hand on her earpiece because the producer's talking to her. And this was when they were reporting, protesters have breached, you know, the doors, and they're inside. And there was like a live feed from inside. And, you know, there's people with backpacks walking around. One guy's taking a picture with his iPhone, and then there's like a cop that just strolls on by. Like, if this is the situation that they claimed it to be, I mean, this guy's pretty nonchalant about it. This police officer looking to him, I think he's an officer because he's got the hat on. I don't think he's just security. But yeah, these guys got backpacks, and they don't look particularly super MAGA or anything like that. But yeah, it looked very tame. And then the signaling obviously began here. The one signaling that I caught live on air was the 322 being the skull and bones symbol there that represents their chapter in Yale University and all that kind of stuff. If you're familiar with it, if you're not, look it up. There's plenty of information out there on it. So, of course, when they report on the time of certain things going down, just an interesting little thing here. Let me play the clip for you right here.
You're watching live pictures of the Capitol in the hour or so. It's now 3:22 in the afternoon Eastern time.
Had to call it at 3:22.
Yeah.
More than that.
And it's interesting because when you watch the video clip, it's just the live feed of the steps of the Capitol, people walking around. It is crowded. But after she says 3:22, they pop the overlay of the time to show it. It wasn't there before.
Signaling.
Yeah, the thing wasn't there before, and then they pop it on later. So I don't know. It's one of those issues where, of course, it's 3:22 p.m. when they talk about the breach of the Capitol building and all that kind of stuff. So little catch.
I don't know. Again, it's just all very suspicious, man. It just doesn't make any sense. So. What do you think? You want to go with some of our planned stuff and see if anything else pops up?
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on what's going on over here with if you see anything, if you are out there in the chat, if you see something breaking, let us know and we will take a look at it.
Yes.
I wanted to. So, do you want to do the that Zero Hedge article? The family brawl, House Trump. It just kind of outlines the 11 GOP members that were going to stand up and challenge.
Yeah, sure. I'll take a look at that. Funny detail. It's Trump's little video that he posted on Twitter, and I mentioned how it had the tag where it was fraudulent and you can't share it or like it or retweet it or anything because that's just what we do here at Twitter. But they're actually replaying that video on CBS right now, so it's funny. It's not CBS, PBS. So it's funny. Like, no, you can't retweet it, but we'll just broadcast it to the entire world on PBS.
And when he starts talking about being peaceful, let's just cut away from him.
Yeah, right.
Make sure
Did they do that?
That's that first clip that I caught from wherever. I think it was PBS. He was in the middle of talking. They're broadcasting it, and all of a sudden the anchor comes in and starts talking over him. Yeah, that's. I'm
watching live on PBS now. They're letting it roll. Okay. Let's check in with this Zero Hedge article. You want to do it? You want me to do it?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, I'll do a little read here as soon as it pulls up. Again, zerohedge.com here. So note the
this is authored.
The leanings.
It says authored by Pat Buchanan. So keep that in mind.
Right. A week from today, Joe Biden will still be on his what?
Sorry, someone's telling me that there's someone in the chat that's actually there. So if you are there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Monica Calderon.
Oh, yeah.
On YouTube.
This is a way to keep the steak going. What are you saying, Monica?
Steal. She said steal, not steak. She corrected herself.
She said steak.
I know. She corrected herself later.
Okay. Well, keep an eye on her while I do this and
let us
see
know.
if anything comes from it. A week from today, this was written yesterday, Joe Biden will still be on his inexorable course to become the 46th president of the United States. Why, then, the hysteria that has suddenly gripped this city? The triggering event was the announcement by GOP Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri. Despite Leader Mitch McConnell's plea, Hawley said he intended to challenge the electoral vote in at least one state during the January 6th pro forma reading of the electoral vote count by Vice President and Senate President Mike Pence. If Hawley holds firm, his vote will force the joint session to split up, with each house debating for 2 hours and then voting on Hawley's claim. Hawley is certain to be defeated as the House is controlled by Nancy Pelosi's Democrats. As for the Senate, GOP members have indicated they will join the 48 Democratic senators in opposing Hawley. You know, one thing to notice that just dawned on me here, we're pretty much gearing up because of the whole process and the holdups and the objections and things that were planned for today. I think they were expecting 12 hours of deliberation before they finally certified the electoral votes. But of course, it all got cut short.
Yeah,
so I'm sure there's some. It's just kind of interesting. They were planning on being there for 12 hours hashing this out, and then, you know, they don't get halfway through that.
Yeah, now they don't have as much time to go through all the evidence, right?
Yeah. Ooh, what now? Okay, now just to float some theories.
Yeah.
I mean, you could. Now the protest was called for President Trump, and we're not gonna make it seem like this was entirely, some sort of fabricated event, or at least planned by some sort of Democrat operating unit. But the fact that it got escalated, and again, skinny jeans scarf boy making it all the way into the chamber, very agent provocateur-y. I wonder, it could have just been taken to that next level in order to interrupt the deliberations and take away any chance of it being flipped in Trump's favor.
Yeah, that's any kind of disruption would serve the Democratic side of things, right? In terms of
and why was there no law enforcement? I'm sorry, we've already talked about that, but I'm so confused how they did it so easily and so quickly.
And that was the other thing the PBS report, and I'm sorry to keep mentioning PBS, but that's the one I was listening to before the show here. And the reporter from inside the Capitol building kept saying the police are completely outnumbered. There's not enough of them. And there's even a part, I didn't clip it entirely, but she says, and they've breached the building. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like a dozen people. And it's like, a dozen? A dozen, and there's like what? Not enough police officers. And then, it's made it sound like it's like this barrage of people flooding into the Capitol building. And then she stops and interviews one. You know what I mean?
Right.
That was all before the interview of the guy who says that everyone's here because of Trump, but not me. So I don't know what the heck's going on.
The other thing that's really tripping me out, there's no reports of anybody being armed. Now, Washington, D.C. has very, 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 very strict gun laws. So it's not like in, Michigan, where it's kind of a little bit more akin to a militia situation, where they took over the state capitol with an armed presence. But you would think that with this, considering the narrative being these are all right-wing lunatics, that there would be some sort of contingent of whatever, Boogaloo Boys or Proud Boys or yada, 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 who would be exercising some sort of Second Amendment aspect to it. You're not seeing that here. Now, I will say...
D-Live just X-tagged our channel due to the political content.
What does X-tag mean?
I don't know, but I just saw it scroll through the chat.
We've been X-tagged.
X-tagged on D-Live.
What does this mean?
Oh, we have 33 viewers on D-Live, too. Hello, D-Live, and hello, 33
D-Live.
of you.
Wow.
Compromised. So
we
I'll
have
drop to
enabled
30.
the X tag on your channel due to the political content.
Yeah. Okay.
We got to figure out what X tagged means.
I don't
What, you're
know.
not allowed to talk about politics on D Live?
Apparently not.
Yeah, okay.
No.
But, that's one weird part about the narrative building of this event is, usually when it's some sort of right-wing event, there's always like, oh, look at all these guns.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's
yeah.
a lot harder to do in Washington, D.C.
It is.
That would trigger some law enforcement activity right away as well.
Yeah. You were reading the Zero Hedge article. Sorry, stuff breaking.
We keep getting distracted. No,
yeah.
no, that's okay. That's what we're here to do. It's a weird day, so we're just going to do weird stuff. So Hawley is certain to be defeated at the House, as the House is controlled by Nancy Pelosi's Democrats. As for the Senate, GOP members have indicated they will join the 48 Democratic senators in opposing Hawley. Yet, though his defeat is inevitable, Hawley is acting in accord with law and precedent. In January 2005, Senator Barbara Boxer, to the cheers of Democratic colleagues, challenged George W. Bush's electoral vote victory in Ohio. Why, then, this panic? Well, after Hawley announced his challenge and was attacked, even by admirers, Ted Cruz and 10 other GOP senators declared that they, too, would challenge the legitimacy of the electoral votes cast for Biden in swing states such as Georgia and Pennsylvania. In effect, Cruz and co. would vote to hold up validating Biden's victory until a newly formed commission could complete a 10-day investigation of complaints that it was fraudulent or rigged. And at last count, 140 House Republicans had signed on to support challenges to Biden's electoral vote majority. Still, the certain end here is that all of these challenges will be rejected by majorities in both houses of Congress, and the electoral vote count of 306 to 232 for Joe Biden will stand. As the challenges are certain fail, and as Biden's path to the presidency will remain clear by week's end, is there something else the Hawley Cruz challenges are all about? Indeed, they are also about the succession struggle inside the GOP, and who inherits the Trump estate if the president elects not to run again. The Haley and Cruz challenges, I think that they meant Hawley. The Hawley and Cruz challenges are signals to the Trump faithful that they stood by Trump when the faint-hearted had abandoned him to do the establishment's bidding. You know what also just occurred to me? Did the electoral votes get certified in the end?
I thought they did.
It was officially certified. So maybe the breach happened just in time to stop.
Oh, you mean today? I don't know about today.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I want to know how far they got in the process.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been fairly deep into it if it was 2 or 3 o'clock when everything went down.
I forgot the time difference.
Yeah, they're 3 hours ahead of where we are, or at least where I am. I don't know where you are, Basil. Somewhere in time space.
Yeah.
But
okay, I'm hearing the X tag on this is somebody on YouTube, but somebody on YouTube says the X tag mean not suitable for under 13 years. I don't know if that's the same on D Live, because why would 13-year-olds? It was X tagged for political content. I don't know if they're trying to keep 13-year-olds away from political content.
Yeah, it's we're X-rated now.
Yeah,
that'll upset my wife.
I don't know. Would you mind doing a little Google search while I continue doing this?
The
How
X
far
tag?
exactly did they get
yeah.
into the process?
Yeah.
Okay. As of today, disbelievers in the validity of Biden's victory are legion. According to a Reuters Ipsos poll of November 18th, some 28% of all respondents and 59% of all Republicans said they were concerned that the results of the election had been rigged. Mike Pence, another potential candidate in 2024, also supports the challenges to the electoral vote. Wow, as of yesterday, but not so much now. Over the weekend, his chief of staff, Mark Short, issued this statement. Quote, the vice president shares the concerns of millions of Americans about voter fraud and irregularities in the last election and welcomes the efforts of members of the House and Senate to use the authority they have under the law to raise objections and bring forward evidence before the Congress and the American people on January 6th. Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton, also potential candidate in 2024, is taking a public stand in opposition to Hawley and Cruz. In a news release Sunday, Cotton declared, quote, the founders entrusted our elections chiefly to the states, not Congress. They entrusted the election of our president to the people, acting through the Electoral College, not Congress, and they entrusted the adjudication of election disputes to the courts, not Congress. Interesting. The Senate's number 2 Republican, John Thune of South Dakota, has said that any attempt by House conservatives to challenge the Electoral College's results, quote, is going down like a shot dog. Whoa. Whoopsies. An angry Trump tweeted in retort that he hoped to see, quote, the great governor of South Dakota run against Rhino John Thune. Noem replied that she considered Thune a good friend and will be running for re-election as governor in 2022. Understandably, McConnell wants to avoid having his GOP majority split over a fruitless challenge to the legitimacy of Biden's election and splintered among factions supporting presidential hopefuls. Sunday, Chris Christie sided with McConnell and Cotton, saying the challenges to the electoral vote are going nowhere because there's been no evidence of widespread fraud. Chris Christie has called on the party to accept the validity of the election of 2020 and work with the new and legitimate President Joe Biden. Given the coronavirus challenges in election laws, the extended periods for voting, the massive use of mail-in ballots, the widespread belief of the election was rigged, and that a change in 35,000 votes out of 155 million cast could have altered the outcome, this belief is going to have a long shelf life in American politics. The corrupt bargain of 1824 that robbed Andrew Jackson of the presidency is still remembered in America's history books. This one is going to be fought over for as long, says Zero Hedge here. Yeah, so, I don't know.
Yeah. Just part of the issue here with the chaos leading up to today was Georgia, and the Republican, I can't remember her name, was leading throughout most of the evening, and then if you watch the vote count, same thing, at like 11:30, the Democrats had a surge. John Ossoff wins Georgia Senate election. Democrats now officially control the U.S. Senate.
You know, there's an interesting on that PBS live stream. We've got what looks like a chief of police or something. You want to switch over to it?
We can. Hold on. Let me see if I can get to it here. All right. Let me look for it.
It's just the same link.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, it's the same one that you had before.
But yeah, I couldn't find anything on the progress other than, basically them saying that Georgia went Democrat, so now the Senate is controlled by Democrats.
Yeah,
and that's not good for
Republicans.
Yeah,
well, that was a big flip. And that's what triggered the not recounts, but the runoff, at least.
And that we are safe as we can possibly be where we are at right
American
now.
manufacturers
But,
I got like multiple things playing.
On TV right now, it's just what's being broadcast, which is I think, just video footage.
I'm sorry, this is.
In the day,
I got too many windows open. Yeah, that was the Ossoff victory in Georgia that you were hearing.
Amendment. That is the amendment of the Constitution, which calls for the removal of the President of the United States, and they say, to do this, quote, to preserve democracy. This is, a number of things we've said today are
putting
remarkable.
The link in the doc.
This is just one more in a string of events today that has jaws dropping, eyes popping in reaction to what's happened today. You have the President of the United States speaking to his supporters for an hour. They marched to the Capitol. They took over. They broke into the building. They just had their run of the place. And I'm reading the statement from their acronym is NAM, National Association of Manufacturers. This is a large group. It represents American, the companies that make things, manufacturers, they are calling on the Vice President of the United States to seriously consider working with the cabinet to invoke the 25th Amendment to remove the president from office.
Yeah, so now,
in order to preserve democracy.
Yeah, so
they're doing the 25th again.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Now that they have control, the Democrats have control of the Senate, they're moving in that direction. I think they're going to try to impeach Trump here now at this point.
Like right now?
Yeah, like right
today?
now. That's what I'm seeing, at least on the social medias. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull it off, but Ilhan Omar, I don't know, probably pronouncing
Ilhan Omar.
Yeah, traitor lady. She was saying she's drafting the impeachment right now. So yeah, I think they're going to try to.
What's the point?
I don't know.
There's 2 weeks. There's 2 weeks, and they're trying to make.
We have to save the democracy, Basil. We can't let him stay for another 2 weeks.
Not a democracy, it's a republic.
I know. It's a constitutional republic that we live in. We never get political on this show. What's happened today?
Well, I don't even know if this is political. This is just
reading the politics.
This is just current events.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
What time is it right now? Do you have a time? We got to make sure to keep an eye on the time.
1:54 my time here.
1:54 your time. Well, why don't we get to a couple of stories, and then if something big breaks, we'll keep an eye out and take it from there.
Yeah, let me do this one here because Linn Wood has been has been pretty at the center of a lot of the voice for the people, saying that they're defending the Constitution. And some of the things he said, I don't necessarily disagree with in terms of what might be going on behind the scenes with blackmail and all that. We know that kind of stuff takes place all the time. The higher up you go in politics, especially. There was an article by the Neon. Oh boy, I forgot the name of the poster. Basically saying that a lot of this has to do with Seth Rich and the Seth Rich murder. Remember that took place, and there's some rabbit trails that people went down, and at the top of the food chain there was Pence, and so that's why Linn Wood was calling for the arrest of Pence in the last few days, because they knew that he wasn't going to defend Trump in this situation here. But this article, this is from the Daily Beast, so take it for what it is, and we have a lot of viewers today. I don't know that there's probably people tuning in that normally don't. We don't really side. We try to stay as narrow on the narrow path as possible when it comes to politics. We know the right-left paradigm, two wings of the same bird.
Yeah, false paradigm.
Yeah, so we try to toe that line right in the middle, which is very difficult to do. Obviously, I think a lot of my inclinations and some of my beliefs and stuff, they lean a lot more conservative, but that being said, I don't necessarily, I'm not a registered Republican, and neither are you, Basil. So anyway, this is the dailybeast.com, and we report on these outlets because we are looking at not just the information, but also how certain people are shaped and shaded and just, how the media colors certain things, certain people. And Linn Wood has made himself a celebrity on one side, almost like the voice to protect the Constitution. On the other side, he's a crazy person. So let's see what this Daily Beast says. Trumpist lawyer Linn Wood called himself second coming of Christ. Documents.
What?
Yeah. Okay. So here's what it says.
Wait, what?
Pro-Trump lawyer.
This is so funny because we had some people sending us messages after we talked about Linn Wood on the last episode, and man, do they love that guy.
Oh, I know, it's crazy. Even our colleagues are like retweeting his stuff, saying like, "Oh yeah, agreeing with him and all that." Pro-Trump lawyer Linn Wood has said some wacky things about the election and politics lately, but his weirdest comment may be about himself. His former law partners, who are locked in a legal dispute with him, alleged in court papers that he was recorded calling himself the Son of God. Quote, "I might actually be Christ coming back for a second time in the form of an imperfect man, elevating Christ consciousness."
What?
He supposedly said in the undated recording. Quote, that cause you to have a little bit of a chill? Who would be more eloquent to say what the will of God is, the belief of God in me? End quote. Law and Crime reports that Wood, who said he was, quote, like the power of King David, is also accused of assaulting his former partners. He filed a countersuit accusing them of trying to shake him down. So that's the problem here. And I looked at it, the actual the lawsuit that was filed, and yeah, the affidavit, or not the affidavit, these partners, these former partners, basically were owed money, and Linn, I guess, and I'm not going to get into the details, but they apparently allegedly have a recording of Linn Wood saying this, and so that's why you got to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. Like, did he really say this?
Right.
Or
it's in a court document. They're trying to make him sound bad because they have something to gain from it.
But at the same time, if it is true, then he's definitely peddling.
We will launch a new age.
That is as new age as it gets. That they are the Christ, and actually, that is precisely a lot of what the New Age say, is that we are the second coming of Christ.
Right.
We are the Christ consciousness. So it's not inconsistent with the New Age message. But it's just very interesting that you would say that.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, as we talked about on the episode, we kind of were exploring who Linn Wood was and why he was so popular now. It's just another case of these lawyers coming out and becoming celebrities. And, sounds like it can kind of go to their head a little bit, just a little bit, Gons.
Well, I'm seeing people in the chat who may know more about this saying that it either wasn't him or that he regretted saying it. And again, in the heat of the moment, and in certain situations, you can probably say some things that you regret. But I don't know. It's kind of hard to, if you're threatening some people, some former colleagues of yours, to invoke yourself as Christ's.
Well, it's interesting because, of course, Linn Wood has a lot of influences from or adjacent to the Q movement.
Right.
And, of course, when you get deep into Q, it's filled with that kind of stuff.
Right. So, yeah, this is a Q-affirmed type of lingo, at least in the New Age sense.
Right. So who knows? Maybe he got it from that, or maybe that brought him to it.
Yeah. So, well, I think that's it for the... this report, for whatever reason, it didn't go into much detail. I had another one that had a different, this is a cheat sheet, so that's why I think it's a little bit shorter, but just keeping an eye on the Linn Wood situation there. And him and Sidney Powell, they were talking about the Kraken, and they're going to release stuff, and I've looked at it, and clearly there is evidence of tampering in terms of the election, the machines, I had one thing here, the election rigging against some claims. I don't know how legit some of this information is, but according to this person here, come on, load. Everything is loading so slow today.
Yeah. The internet's exploding.
Yeah. U.S. election data was forwarded from Frankfurt, Germany. Remember where their servers were?
Right.
To Rome, Italy, where the man pictured below partnered with members of MI6 and CIA, and Italian defense contractor Leonardo led the operation and built the algorithms that were used to manipulate U.S. election data. And again, I mean, the news sources are all going to say there's no evidence. There's evidence. You can dismiss it as not real or fake or whatever, but there's lots of evidence of tampering.
Yeah.
And,
even there's been some backpedaling with a lot of the, bigger personalities, whether in politics or, mainly in politics, where there's been some backpedaling where it's like, but there was not enough tampering to make a difference. So it doesn't even matter. Stop thinking about it.
Yeah. They're trying to dismiss it, downplay it. So, and to that end, for Trump to be out there continuously saying that it was rigged and it was stolen, I mean, I tend to believe him, but at the same time, I would say that past elections were manipulated, and we didn't have a public necessarily that, number one, were so fervent for one candidate. That's something that I think is interesting with the last 4 years, is that in Trump's marketing, maybe you can call it, did a good job.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but if you go back to that PBS thing, they're bringing up one of the senators who is going to object.
Oh, okay. Let me see here. PBS.
We've done for the last 240 years in our country is have peaceful protest and peaceful transition of government.
But President Trump is the one, Congressman Estes, who urged his supporters to come to Washington. He urged them not to allow this process to go forward. He's the one who is saying that this process should be stopped.
Orange
that
man
it should
bad.
not go forward, that his votes, that the electoral vote count should stop, that it should go back to the states, period, and the election should be overturned. Are you supporting him in that belief?
So there have been several protests since the election. I expected this protest to be like that, to be peaceful in terms of that process. I was somewhat surprised today that it did turn violent because that hadn't been the aspect of what had happened in any of the previous ones. I do understand frustration on people's parts, but it's not appropriate for individuals. I don't condone violence that they've done and don't support them at all in terms of storming our Capitol and trying to disrupt the process that's set up in the laws of our country and that we should follow.
What responsibility do you think President Trump has for sending the message, though, that this election should not be accepted and that his supporters should do whatever they can, anything they can, in order to stand in the way of Joe Biden becoming president?
So I think you have to look at and hold accountable those individuals that committed these acts of violence. It's not appropriate at all for them to do that, and those are the folks that need to be held accountable for doing that. I support our Capitol Police and the law enforcement who've actually done an admirable job looking out to secure the Capitol building and make sure that we have a minimum amount of issues with individuals. But even though it's part of our country's history to have free speech and to have the ability to protest, this violence is not appropriate, and individuals should not have done that.
But do you think President Trump bears some responsibility?
She wants him to say it so much.
I think when you have a crowd that gets together conducting a protest, you're at risk anytime that there can be violence that comes out of that. I mean, we saw it earlier last year with all of the Antifa protests, and we saw the violence in Seattle and in Wisconsin, and so that's an individual. We need to hold those individuals that commit that responsible, and knowing that when you do have a crowd, that is a risk, and that's one of the reasons why the Capitol Police and law enforcement are always at the ready when you go through the process of having a protest like that at the beginning maybe start out peaceful, but then has the risk of turning violent.
Do you think the president should have urged his
okay? I think we get the.
Yeah, okay.
These people, they get
nothing
paid
interesting.
You
must say it. Orange man bad.
Don't you think how are you? These people just make me sick. It's ridiculous.
That's so funny.
Don't you think the president is responsible? Well, people get violent, but don't you think he led them on? Don't you think?
Just say it. Okay. Well, I'll keep keeping an eye on that. Yeah, I don't think I mean, I'm kind of curious to see if he gives in and does say it, but she probably asks a couple more times and then lets him go.
Yeah, let's see. Let's just travel the round, take the rounds here. This is ABC. Let's see what they're saying live here.
Very hard to do that. Clearly, given what we are seeing, given it's obvious that many of the president's supporters simply don't view Joe Biden as a legitimate president. But Joe Biden, of course, has promised repeatedly to be a president for all Americans, whether you support him or not. And he does want to get to business very rapidly. Of course, tackling the pandemic is the top priority, doing something to give Americans more of a financial lifeline. So another stimulus, another COVID stimulus bill is also something that you're going to see happen in quite short order. And then because Democrats do control or will control Congress, that does change everything. It changes the scope and the scale of Biden's ambitions here and his ability to fulfill so many.
Some explosions happening in the background there.
It doesn't change everything because, of course, course, it is a 50-50 split
What was
in the
that?
Senate. That is a very,
is that the
small
smoke?
majority.
Yeah, they're trying to get rid of the crowd.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Will be the tie-breaking vote.
Wow, they're like on the roof and stuff?
So
Oh, no,
many
those are
issues,
cops.
Joe Biden will be able to go big, certainly much bigger than he would have envisioned if the Republicans were still in control of the Senate. And just remarkable to have this happen today, or to have 24 hours, after we saw these races in Georgia, to have to see what we are seeing, to see the divide in the Republican Party play out in this way is just remarkable.
And to see what we are seeing right
fantastic.
now, as you
Breakdown
were
of the
talking,
Republican Party.
detonations
Remarkable.
on the steps of the Capitol, as you were talking, smoke being cleared as well. People didn't seem to scatter as the detonations took off.
There's
We
another
see
one.
some more of them as well, these flash bombs. I don't know who we have down there. Is Martha Raddatz anywhere close to that scene? Martha, can you tell us? Rachel Scott. Okay, Rachel Scott, you're down there. Can you tell us what's happening there, Rachel?
Nope. Rachel's gone.
No, I'm sorry, Rachel.
This section of the Capitol, if you can take a look just right behind me, you can see them clearing out the final demonstrators and protesters that stormed the barricades, climbed over, pushed up, passed, and stormed inside of the Capitol building here. This entire area, George, was completely blocked off. I want to show you. You could see some of the gates and the barricades that were set up here. On the other side, they have all been torn down.
Yeah,
as these
people can jump over that
and
barricade.
protesters charged up those steps and
That's the
into
stuff they have at
Capitol building.
concerts.
I talked to so many here today. They came from Florida. They came from Georgia. I was on a flight from Georgia after covering those runoff elections just yesterday. They said they wanted to stand by the president. They wanted to help him fight an election that he overwhelmingly lost. And they said they would not accept the results until he said that he had lost this race. They feel like they were answering a call directly from the president here today. And as that message came out, we have seen some of the demonstrators in this area clear. On the other side of the Capitol building, we watched as some of those demonstrators climbed up scaffolding.
Yeah. Okay, they climbed things. I saw somebody in the chat mentioned that there was breaking news that there may have been pipe bombs found near the Capitol. I'm looking around. I can't find anything about that. Maybe you can take a look, or if that person wants to, who was it? Cool Runnings Mon in Twitch. Message us, DM us a link if you have a link to that, because I can't find it anywhere. But there was something interesting regarding all this. Last I heard, they did clear out, secured the Capitol building again. But they were worried because there was enough people and enough time that, for people to hide and kind of try to lay low and, wait out the whole event, or possibly put something in the Capitol building. I'm sure they're worried about some sort of destructive device. But so they're doing a full sweep of the Capitol building, last I heard. But another interesting thing, compared to what we've seen with other, storming of government buildings, or of this or that, whether federal or state, during the riots earlier this year, was they almost always immediately set fire to the building. Or, did other things like that. I've not seen any reports that there's been, destructive, there's, I guess, specifically fire set in the Capitol building or anything like that.
Yeah, and somebody in the chat, sorry, I went by, and it just reminded me that one of the other setup things that were being set up around the Capitol in the last few days was piles of bricks. We saw that with a lot of the Antifa BLM stuff from before too. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just is there going to be a second wave of violence at the Capitol building?
It'll be interesting to see how long this. The last reports showed that there was National Guard coming in from surrounding states. And there we go. Cool Runnings Mon sending me the link. Thank you very much. Let me get that open. National Guard moving in. So, I mean, I'm sure it's a matter of, an hour or so until the National Guard moves in.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. This is from the gatewaypundit.com. So
yeah, I saw that. There's a New York Times article as well that seems to confirm that there were pipe bombs found and destroyed at RNC, DNC is evacuated. So.
This is not the Capitol building. This was found at the Republican National Committee's D.C. headquarters and safely detonated by bomb squad today. Yeah. Pretty crazy how it was today. Democratic National Committee is also being evacuated after a suspicious package was found nearby. The controlled detonation took place as Trump-supporting patriots stormed the Capitol building just a few blocks away. Okay, so this was a few blocks away, but it was not the Capitol building proper. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
well, should we take a break from this? And I want to show you some Flippy stuff.
Sure. Yeah, you want to do a Flippy update in the middle
of
the most chaotic moment in American history?
Take a breather. We're going to take a breather and get a Flippy update in.
Flippy update. Do you want fries with that?
That's right. Okay, if you're new to the show, we talk about other things besides Capitol buildings getting stormed, and one of those things is Flippy. It's the colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore how robotics and AI are taking over the world, and there's nothing we can do about it. I'll make this one fast, but it's worth noting. This is on Wired.com. The headline reads, "Watch a robot dog learn how to deftly fend off a human. Dun, dun, dun. Study hard enough, kids, and maybe one day you'll grow up to be a professional robot fighter." Booyah! A few years ago, Boston Dynamics set the standard for the field by having people wielding hockey sticks to try to keep Spot, the quadrupedal robot, from opening a door. Previously, in 2015, the far-out federal research agency DARPA hosted a challenge in which it forced clumsy humanoid robots to embarrass themselves on an obstacle course way outside the machine's league. I once asked you, dear readers, to stop laughing at them, but have since changed my mind. And now, behold, the maker of the Jewing robot dog.
Whoa.
What?
No, I'm just saying Jewing. That sounds really
I'm just reading it, man. It says Zhu Ying. Zhu Ying. Robot dog have taught it a fascinating way to fend off a human antagonizer who kicks it over or pushes it with a stick. A team of researchers from China Zhejiang University, where the Zhu Ying's hardware was also developed, and the University of Edinburgh, didn't teach the Zhu Ying how to recover after an assault so much as they let the robot figure it out. It's a dramatic departure from how a hardware developer like Boston Dynamics goes about teaching a robot how to move, using decades of human experience to hard code line by line the way a robot is supposed to react to stimuli like a person's foot. And they've got a little video here, but there's got to be a better way. Imagine, if you will, a soccer team, midfielders, strikers, and a goalkeeper all do generally soccer-esque things like running and kicking, but each position has its own specialized skills that make it unique. The goalkeeper, for instance, is the only person. What the heck are they talking about? They're just going into soccer. Long story short, this robot learns how to defend itself from a human, and I'm telling you, this is how it starts. It's only a matter of time before these robots figure out that the best way to not get kicked by a human is to kick the human first.
Yeah, I don't like where this is headed. This is a compliance with China, and now that the Chinese Communist Party takeover of America is nearly complete, they can deploy these things at the Capitol building and disperse the crowds.
Well, right. This was an interesting experience today, especially because, as we know, RoboCops in all sorts of shapes and sizes are not very far off. And, in 2020, now 2021, where there's obviously not enough law enforcement to take control of a situation, 2020 saw, of course, a lot of difficult times for law enforcement officers all around the country. And soon humans will just stop wanting to be kicked around like a lot of these cops are. And they will deploy these robot dogs. And good luck. We've seen robot dogs from Amazon and Boston Dynamics roaming the streets in several cities. And, there's been some fears that they can be attacked. They've been given personhood in some cities as pedestrian robots, giving them legal protections. And now it's not just legal protections; it's martial arts protections.
Wasn't it Indonesia where they had the robot dogs walking around with a bullhorn, basically telling people to social distance and.
Yeah, somewhere in Asia. I don't remember specifically, but yeah, robot dogs patrolling parks and stuff, enforcing social distancing.
Yeah, so I don't like where this is headed.
Yeah, I know, but we watched. We've talked about The Mandalorian, and one big theme at the end of The Mandalorian was how the Empire had gotten robots. They basically perfected the stormtrooper by getting rid of the human
element, is the weakness.
Got rid of the humans and turned it into basically robo stormtroopers. And it was interesting to just see how the institution of the Empire, they just would have a whole section of a spaceship that was parked with like 30 robots, and they got activated when they were needed. And I could see the Capitol building, having a wing or a back room filled with riot control robots for just such an occasion.
This is the way.
Sure, that's what they're saying there. But yeah. It's the progress is quite startling. A few years ago we had these robot dogs slipping on banana peels, You're
right.
And now they're rolling over and getting right back up and coming after you. So we're doomed.
Yeah. I'm gonna check. I gotta pull up my Pacific Standard Time website so I know the time.
Yeah, I don't understand how you don't have a clock that tells the proper time. That is so
I don't
weird.
know. I've tried hundreds of times to fix it.
Very bizarre. You want to?
And the worst part is it messes with my a tweet. Because when you're looking at Twitter, it tells you how long ago the tweet was tweeted, and it apparently runs off of your computer time and is different for each viewer, because that video of Trump that he posted, probably moving on almost an hour ago now, when I saw it, it said it was posted over 2 hours before, and when you saw it, it said 12 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm just
You're living in the
time
future.
Warp.
You're living slightly more into the future, which makes a little bit of sense in some ways with your eyes there. It's funny. I had a good friend tell me you need to stop goofing around with the googly eyes. You have a much bigger purpose.
It's true. You do. You do have a much bigger purpose, Gons.
A lot of listeners would, or not listeners, old viewers of the Face Like the Sun channel would definitely agree with that sentiment. But I don't know. We've been podcasting for a long time,
man.
Well, yeah, I'm working on Age of Deceit 4. This is the 10-year anniversary of Age of Deceit this year. Believe it or not. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
Huh.
Do you want to do the
party?
Yeah, I know. I'm going to try to finish part 4 this year so we can do the what is it? Decade party. Not really a party, but do you want to take a break real quick and then thank some people and then we'll get back? We got a whole bunch of other stories. Part of our thing here at Canary Cry News Talk is we try not to talk politics because a lot of politics is a distraction to the stuff that's really going on behind the scenes and things that are developing. So we have some other things to cover today, including Julian Assange, Elon saying some things. One of our theories about Project Bluebeam, recent theories, was actually proven correct. This was kind of funny. Yeah.
Oh, good.
A cyborg moth smellicopter, a couple pandemic things, and then a couple AI things if we get to it. So let's just do a quick break. I think we have a night. So yeah. You want to do it?
Let's do it. Yeah. Okay, folks, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break. You heard all sorts of good stories we're going to get to after that. But we want to take a second and thank some of our producers. That's right. Many of you out there listening and watching right now are actually producers of Canary Cry News Talk. And that's because we run on the value for value model. It's no secret that the advertising industry, the advertisers, all wrapped up in big data privacy concerns. Advertising has been a very destructive force overall, and in some cases has let content producers like Gons and myself to monetize things. However, we got to the point where we realized that participating in the advertising model would be participating in and taking advantage of the beast system that we try to expose so often. And so we are on the value for value model, which not only invites you, dear listener, to get involved with your own media future, to invest in the types of media that you find valuable without the literal mind control of advertising, but also creates, a chance to rebel against the theology of this world in regards to bending the knee to advertisers and mammon and everything wrapped up in that. So we want to thank a few producers of the show today. You can start with that if you're interested. Well, just to reiterate, the show can only continue. But
sorry, there's some pictures coming out from the Capitol building, and they're hilarious. So sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm looking up some things. I also have video footage of what looks like the Capitol police actually letting through some of the more violent-looking protesters, like removing the barricade.
Do you have it on the screen?
Yeah, let me pull it up.
Pop it up there.
So we'll get to the other one there in a moment here. Sorry, folks. There's just so much happening today. It's just hard to stick to one thing, but this is
police are squabbling with protesters. Oh, there we go. And they just breached the Capitol again.
So yeah, there's like a rowdy crowd behind the barricades, and the police, the guys with jackets that say police, just move the barricades, and a whole bunch of people start walking through.
It's fishy, man.
It's super fishy. And then there's a guy waving all of them to come in. And then at the very end of this little TikTok video here, the camera kind of pulls off to the side, and you see a bunch of people that would look like normal, not normal, I guess, but just people that look like peaceful protesters. Standing by, kind of watching this,
like already place. In there.
Yeah, like
what a weird stage.
It's a weird thing.
There's like moms, like middle-aged moms, already on the inside of the barricade, and then this big hullabaloo where these cops basically roll out the red carpet for more people to. Yeah, they move the barricades and let them in, and just sort of stroll away. I don't know, man. This is even more fishy than before. And it's also strange that none of these law enforcement officers have any sort of riot gear or anything on.
Well,
they don't seem too concerned.
Well, this is earlier, too. Now they're all out there in force. The ABC report we were just watching had a bunch of guys in what looked like stormtrooper outfits and, super crazy tough guy cars and stuff. So, yeah, they're out there now, but they certainly weren't earlier today, per the report from the PBS anchor reporter basically saying there's not enough police being rampaged by all 12 people breaking in. And then real quickly here, there's a picture of a guy. I don't know if this is Skinny Jeans guy. I don't think it's a Skinny Jeans guy, but it looks like he just picked up the podium from just a podium with the microphones on it, and he's walking out. He's like waving.
He's got a souvenir. Yeah. Yeah, he's got a big wooden. I would expect that thing to be a little hevier, but he's
it probably is a little heavier. But
strolling out with it, big golden seal there.
Now that is probably illegal. And I like how it's Getty Images too. Getty getting in on the historical moment. stamping
Good
their
job,
little thing.
Getty. Yeah, some photographer just made a quick buck, send that over to Getty.
I'm just trying to see. No, different beanies here.
Yeah,
not the
that's
same
not
guy.
the same
Yeah,
guy.
not the same guy, but okay. Anyway, just thought it was a funny picture.
The first and one of the easier ways you can become a producer of the show is by heading to patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk. Patreon.com/CCNT. And I am very thankful and want to thank a number of new producers. The first one is new producer Amanda.
Thank you, producer Amanda.
I believe she's a returning producer, actually. So thank you very much, returning producer Amanda. Next, we have producer Christina.
Thank you, producer Christina.
Thank you very much, producer Christina. And I'm just going to refresh this page real quick to make sure nobody else came in during the show. Dun, 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 dun. I do not think so. So thank you very much to producer Amanda and producer Christina for supporting the show. Now, we also have patreon.com/Canary Cry Radio. That's patreon.com/Canary Cry Radio. If you haven't listened to Canary Cry Radio before, that is another show that we've been doing for many, many years, interview style deal, and you should check it out because it's a good long form worldview informing show that we like to do very much, and we have some more. We'll be doing some more interviews for that in the next week or so.
Yeah, before you go on, real quick, Jacqueline Plaza on YouTube commented. She said, "I decided to start watching Canary Cry Radio from the very first episode today, and I'm only 25 minutes in on Canary Cry Radio 001 introduction, which was published on March of 2012. And it's unnerving to hear what you are saying compared to what's happening today. Did you guys really start this show in 2012?
Yeah."
And she says, "What hole was I living in that I missed all this stuff since 2012?" And she's been listening since 2019. So, it's still
That's
there.
Awesome.
So,
I'm glad she. That's what we're saying, man. These times are weird. We've been basically describing this exact situation for almost 9 years now.
I know.
So, did you say that was Jacqueline
Plaza?
Plaza. Well, I want to thank Jacqueline Plaza because she is one of our new producers over at patreon.com/Canary Cry Radio.
Very good. Thank you, Jacqueline.
Woo-hoo. Thank you very much, producer Jacqueline. Next, we have producer Zane.
Thank you, producer Zane.
Thank you very much. Next, we have producer The Sec Doc.
Ooh, The Sec Doc.
Yeah, like security, I think. And then during the show, we had a new producer come in, and that is our new producer, Renee A.
Hey, producer Renee. She might be returning, too.
Thank you. Maybe, yeah. Let me make sure we put her on the list.
We're both doing it.
She's on there twice now. So there you go. Thank you very much to our Patreon producers. We cannot do the show without the help of the producers. So as much as we would like to take credit for things, it's the producers that make the show happen. Now, if you don't like Patreon, that is okay. You don't have to like Patreon. That's why we have canarycryradio.com/support. canarycryradio.com/support. That's right. canarycryradio.com/support is a great way to support the show in a few different ways. First of all, there's some literature there on the value for value model and why it's so important, not just for us, but for each and every listener or /producer of the show. And there's PayPal options. You can come in and become a monthly producer. And so thank you very much to all of our monthly producers, laying down a nice foundation to keep the show going. But if commitment is not your thing, you can make a one-time producership in any amount. There's also cryptocurrency and all sorts of fun stuff. So check that out. Gons, who do we have coming in on the PayPal?
First, we have Saul coming in twice.
Yes, Saul. He's so consistent. Thank you very much, Producer Saul.
Producer Saul. We also have Nathan A. coming in at $33.
Ooh, Producer Nathan A. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Producer Nathan. Producer Cynthia F. coming in, taking up the $20.21 donation.
The
or support amount.
2021 producership.
Very good. Thank you for that, Producer Cynthia. We also have Producer Sylvan.
Thank you very much, Producer Sylvan.
I'm having
and
flashbacks.
then this last one, last one here.
Wait.
What?
Sylvan. I want to say something about Sylvan.
Oh, say something.
I just had a flashback because I used to go to this. Okay, my education was normal, Monday through Friday, regular school, and then I had Japanese school on Saturdays all day, and I also was doing extra school sometimes called there's like a Sylvan Learning Center, and I was doing extra SAT type work there. So it just took me back. Producer Sylvan, thank you for opening up old wounds.
Okay, you got him. You got him. And then there's actually a couple more after this, Gons, that I have pulled up. But this is a big thank you to producer Vladimir S.
Ooh, producer Volodymyr.
Yeah. And they sent in a message here, specifically says, read in Russian accents. Keep up the good work, comrades. No, that was bad. But thank you very much, producer Vladimir, who is our Russian KGB handler, apparently.
Yeah.
And then a couple more came in during the show, Gons. So I'm going to read these ones live. Okay. Producer Ralph C. Thank you very much, producer Ralph C. And then lastly, we have producer eBay Seller. Very funny. And a little note here. Shout out to Nigel, producer Nigel. Thank you.
Very good. Yes, our knife maker, our resident knife maker.
Our resident blacksmith.
It will kill.
Okay, and I think that is all for the producers this week, Guns.
Oh, we have a knight.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes, so we do have the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, which, if you haven't heard, this is a very elite group of Canary Cry producers who, over the years, have produced the show in the amount of $1,000 or more. And so we want to give them a very special thank you and honor them for their devotion to keeping the show going. And this one is today we'll be knighting Dame Sarah.
All right. Are you ready?
Okay. I'm ready.
Get the sword out, or?
Yeah, let me get my sword. Hold on. This one was made by producer Nigel.
I need producer Nigel to make me a katana.
Yes. There we go. Okay. We want to call up Dame Sarah. Please step forward to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, where we have a seat for you. Thanks to your generous support in the amount of $1,000 or more, we are proud to pronounce you Dame of the Canary Cry Roundtable. You shall now be known as Dame Sarah of the House Taylor, pursuer of truth and mother of cats. Yes, that's right. Welcome to the Canary Cry Roundtable, where we have the belt of truthful truthiness, breastplate of righteous righteousness, custom-fit Birkenstocks to carry forth the gospel of peace, the shield of ferocious faith, the helmet of substantiating salvation, the supernatural sword of the spirit, and of course, adorable samurai babies, infinitely cute kitties for cuddling. And if you're hungry, we have fancy feast, wet food, carved Cosmo, the crisper cow, and of course, fried wormicorns. Welcome to the Canary Cry Knights and Dames Roundtable, to Dame Sarah, the House Taylor, pursuer of truth and the mother of cats. Woo! There you go. All you out there in the chat and listener land, make sure to give a warm round of applause and congratulations to Dame Sarah. And thank you, Dame Sarah, so much for supporting the show. It's always fun. Knightings and damings, Gons. It's a good time.
She did give us a note. Do you want to read this?
Yes,
because
I'm going to go through this. Okay. Yes. She sent noting. In. Yes, this is very interesting. And Dame Sarah, this is so cool to know. And I think other listeners will enjoy it as well. So, fun fact. She says you can use this to disprove people who think that Christians in general are fringe conspiracy people, are stupid. And she says, I'm a member of Mensa.
Ooh.
And she's got a certified IQ of 130 to 134. Ooh. So very smart person we have at the round table here. I believe she actually sent a longer explanation of this in another email. That I believe had like a certification number and stuff, so we could verify that. But yeah, that's very cool, man. You know, in the fringy world, especially the Christian world, it's people assume that everybody's dullards and crazy, and of course the mainstream media will say, oh, people with conspiracy thinking are less educated and et cetera, but Dame Sarah, she disproves it right here, Gons. We have a certified Mensa member as a Canary Cry Dame.
Hallelujah.
That's right. And she continues and says, it does not mean that I am better than anyone, but it's fun when someone calls me an idiot to say, actually, that is incorrect. I had me tested. I had me tested. Fun fact 2. Facial recognition has also spread to Europe. I have traveled several times this year between 2 countries in Europe. The first time I had to stay quarantined for a time, and I had city officials come to my house and check that I indeed stay home at random times of the day. The second time I got to choose to either do the same or download an app that gives you notifications at random times of the day and asks you to scan your face and share your location info. Yikes. It also asks you to fill out a health questionnaire every day. Oh my gosh, it's the panopticon continues. She says, I'm a longtime listener who's not so active on social media, but loves the community and never misses an episode. I serve as a Sunday school teacher at my local church and work as an engineer. I went to World of Life Bible Institute in Hungary for 1 year after high school and actually learned about Nephilim there. Hungary. Okay. They're on the Nephilim tip. There is hope yet for our Christian institutions. Also learned a lot about dispensationalism, but hey, no place is perfect. I would like to give a shout out to all the European listeners like myself and my friend Fanny. They sent a pronunciation, but I missed it. Okay. To whom I recommended the podcast only a couple days ago. Ooh. Okay. Oh, man, I should have. The link is not working. I hope I pronounced Fanny or Fanny correctly. But either way, welcome, new listener, and thank you, Dame Sarah. You guys do excellent work, and Middle Earth would probably have much less tourism without you. I pray that God will continue to bless you, your families, and your ministry. With love, Sarah. Well, thank you very much, Dame Sarah.
Thank you, Dame
Sarah.
What a
pleasure. What a pleasure it is to have you.
Nice.
Okay, and there you go. That's our knighting.
Very good. Daming. Very good. Mm-hmm. We have a couple more nights in the queue. We just need titles and names.
Make sure to send your info.
Yeah, and there are various ways to support the show other than with your treasure, and that is with your time and talent. You can make jingles for us. We have a playlist at the end of the show where we play music and songs and sometimes little ISOs that you guys produce for the show. So that's really great. Stay tuned for that. And the other way is to do it with your hand drawings.
One art, please.
Your hand drawings?
Finger paintings. No, not finger paintings. But we have some great artists that produce art for each episode. Every episode, they come up with something that is relevant and on topic. Today we have a couple pieces from producer Grace, and this first one, and she's been doing the quotes, and this first one day we won't be able to go to the bathroom in public. I think I said that based on the analyzing software, the smart toilet.
The smart toilet, the government-funded smart toilet grant.
Yeah, so
beautiful. That looks like a piece that would be hanging in a bathroom. Bathroom quote art.
That's a good idea. We should put that in the inside of stalls. Just have the Canary Cry News Talk. We gotta get into the stall art.
Got to cross stitch that and hang it in my bathroom.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking public bathrooms. Just so they realize that it's a privilege to be going to the restroom without being surveilled completely. So good job there, producer Grace. She has a second one here. It says there will be user license agreement on the outside of the stall.
Yes, that was my addition to your bathroom in public thing. Once the smart toilets are installed and the panopticon is complete, you're going to have to, there will be implied consent with a EULA agreement in public restrooms. Yes. I like the little icons she made there. For people who can't read, it's, a little icon of a video camera, a little icon of a butt, and a little icon with an arrow going into the cloud, because all of the smart toilet info, for some reason, is accessible in the cloud.
Yeah, I don't know what the story is on that. I just got a message from Sir Jason. You shall be knighted in the next episode. So
good.
Stay tuned. Okay, so yeah, there's some art from Grace, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't think we got one from Allie today.
We did. It came in during the show, though. If you want me to stall,
I see it.
I can talk about the calendar while you upload that.
Yeah, talk calendar.
Okay. We just got an update from producer Isaac. Just a quick update. The calendars are finished. I will be picking them up in 30 minutes and begin shipping them tonight. That's right, folks. The Canary Cry calendar is hot off the press. If you haven't gotten it yet, you should head over to canarycrymerchperch.com. There's a pre-order section, although now I don't know if it's technically a pre-order or just a regular order. But the Canary Cry calendar 2021 is ready to be shipped. So congratulations to everybody who pre-ordered that. If you haven't done it, head over to canarycrymerchperch.com. There's all sorts of Canary Cry merch, and it is producer run. It is not run by Gons and I. It was just a wonderful pleasure to have producers decide that would be a wonderful contribution to the community. And the Canary Cry calendar 2021 features numerous notable dates throughout the year that you're going to want to keep track of, especially if you track fringy stuff. And if you're a Canarian, you're going to need it. So, and the art in the calendar was created by lots of our wonderful Canary Cry artists. Allie, once I start listing them, I need to list all of them, and I don't have a list in front of me. But a bunch of very wonderful artists. I know Allie has a few pieces. Incarnate Unlimited has a few pieces. 88 is in there. I'm trying to think if Jay Vela got in there or not. I don't know, but it's wonderful. You got to go get it. Hot off the press, Canary Cry calendar 2021. Go to canarycrymerchperch.com. How you looking?
Good. I have Allie's piece of art here, and I knew this was going to be the piece of art that she was going to do. It is
yes.
It is your axe throwing, which you have been practicing.
Yes. Yeah, I was glad I got to share that last episode. Been working on my axe throwing. Wow, my biceps just keep getting bigger and bigger, Allie. Thank you. And there was a little note, which let me make sure to read this the way it needs to be read, because there was something. Excuse me. Sorry. Yes, Allie researched axe throwing for this one. She then asked me what your target would be. This is producer Charlie saying this. And since you didn't address the question in the live stream, she improvised. And that's my neighbor with his homemade firework. Yeah, well, right. I will say I don't throw axes at my neighbors, but that is the funniest depiction of my neighbor I could have imagined. So thank you very much for that. And thank you very much, producer Allie, for sending in the art. Always a pleasure.
I'm really glad that wasn't me. There was a moment where I thought, oh no, I have devolved into...
I'm having a firework v axe battle with my neighbor, apparently. Yeah. That's good.
And then Jade Bouncerson is the timestamp person. I think the last episode we didn't get them, but I think there's been some transition happening with the producer there. Hey. So I'm just
Wait, what? What are you saying?
The timestamps. Jade Bouncerson was unable to do it.
Yes. Thank you very much for the transition.
What,
for
KKK? What are you, the white supremacist?
Okay. Thank you very much, Jade Bouncerson, for the timestamps, and it really helps out the show. If you're on YouTube, and you'll notice in past episodes that there are timestamps that will help you navigate the episodes after the original broadcast, so you can skip from subject to subject without having to watch the whole thing. So there you go. Okay.
Is there a birthday too?
There is a birthday. It was producer's Grace's birthday on the 3rd.
Oh, cool. Are you ready for the birthday jingle?
Yes.
Happy birthday to
Happy birthday, Grace.
Happy birthday, Grace. Thank you so much for all your wonderful contributions to the show.
All right. We have a little bit of time here to go through some of these other stories. Anything breaking on the Capitol front?
I have not seen anything. I'm keeping my eye on this live stream, and they're just getting more and more people. Just more Orange Man bad stuff.
Yeah.
I have not had anybody send us anything, so no, I don't know. Let's just keep doing our thing. Okay. We'll see if anything else comes up.
There was a picture. I think this was taken by the Times, and it's the same picture we had where they had like the desks in front of the door within the what's that room? I forget. We just went over this. What the room was called there, where they do all the meetings. But this one, they have a couple of the officers with guns pointed at the door. Well, it really does look like an alien invasion movie.
I'm trying to look at it. Oh, yeah. Wow. Oh, my gosh. That's funny.
Yeah,
wow,
hilarious guns pointed at the door.
That.
No, it's intense, man. It's crazy. But again, if there's anything that breaks, let me know. Otherwise, we're going to do a few updates here.
We interrupt this broadcast to give you a brief update. By the end of this timely interruption, you will be thoroughly updated.
So, oops. What did I have here? Oh, this is judiciary.uk. This is USA versus Assange judgment. And at the very bottom of this 132-page document, 410, I order the discharge of Julian Paul Assange pursuant to Section 91.3 of the EA 2003. And that was a couple days ago from Vanessa Baratzer. I don't know. That's Baratzer. Judge, District Judge Magistrates Court, and it was rejected. So Assange is not free. He was not discharged.
Well, they tried.
They're going to keep
Somebody tried.
Yeah. And then I wanted to point out Elon's tweet here. Very peculiar. You know, Elon is one of the many being tailored to be Antichrist. And he says, "Destiny, destiny, no escaping that from me." Is that a song?
I don't know, but it sounds very cryptic, knowing his background and his lineage, and of course his current status.
Yeah, and it was really fascinating too because Toby Lee responded. This is back in the end of December, by the way. I just thought I'd include it because it was interesting. He tweeted out, "Speaking about destiny, did you know that von Braun, in 1953, the book Mars Project, referenced a person named Elon that would bring humans to Mars?" He's got a picture of the document allegedly written by von Braun.
Yeah, I've seen this before.
And yeah, well, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Elon's going to bring people to Mars. And so far, the claim by Alex Jones a few years ago during the election that they'll have statues of Trump on Mars, I don't know. He better pull off something. Right. He better pull off something great.
Wait, who said that?
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones. They're
gonna have statues of Trump on Mars.
I seem to remember what's his name? John Teeter, the time traveler.
Yeah, Teeter. What about him?
I'm trying to remember. I thought I remembered him talking about statues on Mars too.
Yeah. Well, there is a statue on Mars, allegedly. Do you remember that statue? It looks like a person sitting down. It was very.
I don't remember the sitting down thing.
Oh, you
I
don't?
remember the pyramids and the obelisk in the face.
Yeah, there's a the face that was David Flynn. That was his work. But yeah, there's like a picture, like an official NASA release picture on Mars where it has like what looks like a statue of a person, like a human person. And it's pretty compelling.
Why not?
The deserts of Arizona. I mean, they got statues of humans and stuff out there. Anyway, one more thing, and this is us being affirmed for we throw out theories, but this one we called this.
Called it.
This is latestly.com. Not aliens, mysterious UFO or blue UFO in Hawaii was possibly an LED kite.
Oh, called it.
We called it. We said it was an LED light.
Yeah.
And
I thought it was an LED drone, but okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, LED, drone, kite, whatever. I mean, we said LED. We said it looked like a string of LEDs.
String of LEDs, yeah.
And we also
Can't
made
fool
fun.
us.
Yeah, we also made fun of it, saying, "What if this was the Project Bluebeam that was?"
It is.
conjured?
It is officially Project Bluebeam.
Yeah. So there you go. That's all the random short things I have. I know there's not, there's usually I have a little bit more, but I was a little distracted today from our Capitol building being ransacked by.
There's a lot of other stuff going on. The whole show got mixed up today, but we just got a few more things to go through. Although I think maybe we should pick one or two of them because we're just about bumping up against your time. You got to go.
Yeah, I'm going to do this one.
Are you ready to become cyborg?
That was way too loud. That hurt my ears.
That was great.
Yeah. Are you okay? Well, I'll let you do it since you're,
Me?
Yeah, do it.
Okay. Here I go. Are you ready to become cyborg? This is coming from techthelead.com. And it says, say hello to the real-life cyborg moth, smellicopter. Woo! A team led by the University of Washington has recently developed a biohybrid odor-guided autonomous palm-sized air vehicle. Woo! That uses an antenna from an actual moth, making it the first cyborg moth smellicopter. The results of the research concerning the autonomous drone were published on October 1st in IOP Bioinspiration and Biomimetics. A peer-reviewed journal that publishes research revolving around the principles and functions found in biological systems developed through evolution. The smellicopter, as it's named, uses the antenna of the Manduca sexta, otherwise known as the Carolina sphinx moth or the tobacco hawk moth, in order to detect smells and navigate towards them.
Nature.
It's been a long day. Nature really.
I really like going out into nature.
You gotta get into nature, Mother Nature. Nature really blows our human-made odor sensors out of the water, said Melanie Anderson, a mechanical engineer student from the University of Washington and lead author of the doctoral research. Quote, by using an actual moth antenna with smellicopter, we're able to get the best of both worlds, the sensitivity of a biological organism on a robotic platform where we can control its motion. Anderson started the process by cold anesthetizing a hawk moth inside a freezer so the antenna could be removed. Oh, poor little guy. The ends of the antenna were then cut and a wire attached to both ends so they could be connected to an electrical circuit. Quote, a lot like a heart monitor, which measures the electrical voltage that is produced by a heart when it beats, we measure the electrical signal produced by the antenna when it smells an odor, explained Anderson. And very similarly, the antenna will produce these spike-shaped pulses in response to patches of odor. Smell is an essential sense for moths and one on which they rely heavily. Furthermore, moths lack a nose, so instead they use their antennae to scan for the smell of flowers or potential mates. Quote, cells in a moth antenna amplify chemical signals, stated Thomas Daniel, a University of Washington professor of biology and co-author of the paper. Quote, the moths do it really efficiently. One scent molecule can trigger lots of cellular responses, and that's the trick. This process is super efficient, specific, and fast. The drone is also equipped with laser sensors. Woohoo! That allow it to detect and avoid obstacles while flying. For example, if the drone's infrared sensors pick up an obstacle within 20 centimeters, then the smellicopter will change direction to avoid colliding with it. It is also programmed according to an algorithm that mimics the way moths search for smells that are of interest to them, and even acting like a real moth would in what? Real moth would in something called crosswind casting, where the moth systematically scans horizontal and vertical airspace for presumably upwind source they are targeting. In this case, the drone starts off by drifting to the left for a set of distance, and if it doesn't detect a strong enough scent, it will proceed to move to the right. So when the smell is finally detected, the drone adjusts direction and flies towards the source. Likewise, this also applies in case there is a certain obstacle blocking the odor. Okay, so if smellicopter was casting left and now there's an obstacle on the left, it'll switch to casting right. Yeah, okay, we get how directions work. It's really, really stoked on the fact that this moth can go left. And then
you know
it
what?
can go right.
I'm just going to break in because there's an article here that popped up that you're going to like. Megabots robots can now be purchased on eBay.
Yes, I'm looking at that too. Let's find them on eBay.
Oh yeah, you do that.
Okay, I'll do that.
I'm gonna. So yeah, cyborg. Moths, real life cyborg moth smellicopter.
Yeah, well, this follows the trend that we've seen recently, most sort of sinisterly connected with intelligence gathering by governments and military branches, where the further use of drones has, of course, taken intelligence gathering to the next level. But there's, it's been at least ever since we've been looking into it, the threat of cyborg insects to get into places that otherwise could not be accessed by traditionally sized means. Now, the interesting thing with this moth thing is they're really stoked on smell, and I'm wondering what it is exactly they want to gain from a smelling robot.
Those cops, they smell alcohol on you.
You've got a fleet of robot moths at DUI checkpoints.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I maybe some burning, early detection of some fire. I don't know.
I was thinking like chemicals,
chemical stuff.
Maybe at an airport, you're going through TSA.
Oh, there you go. Like the dogs.
Robot moth will smell your bags instead of a dog.
Yeah, that's possible too.
Yeah, well, it says here, so far the smellicopter has managed to successfully reach the source of a smell in 100% of the cases. And not only that, but the device can detect potentially dangerous chemicals in the air, especially in circumstances where humans are not sensitive or fast enough to locate specific smells. Overall, this makes the cyborg drones ideal for cases where the devices are required to easily navigate areas that are deemed too small, dangerous, or insecure for humans, such as unstable buildings, zones where explosives might be present, or structures damaged by natural disasters. So these cyborg moths will save a lot of lives.
Very good. You look for those megabots on eBay. We'll maybe report on it next time. I do want to do this. I do want to do this story real quick.
Welcome to Chinese Show.
5G kills humans.
This is what is this? IOL.co.za. And the headline is, Watch, China opens first 5G virtual reality theme park.
Ooh, 5G theme park. Okay.
Yeah, so it's just, it's VR, people with VR headsets on, backpacks, floating devices. I'm sure it's fun. It just feels like more in your face Western civilization. We have 5G VR theme parks while the rest of you in the West are, locked down from the Ronas.
Yeah, I wonder what the need. It's kind of weird to have a theme park, but you're also wearing virtual reality goggles.
I think it's for because they have. It's almost like any kind of looks like an arcade, a bigger arcade with like things you hang from, little chairs that move and stuff to enhance the VR experience. So it's not just you sitting in the room with the VR headset. Now you have things that'll flip you upside down, things you hang from, and other things to enhance. To give you more of that.
Seems more like an AR situation.
Maybe, but it looks like some of these devices here. It's XR, so it includes all of them. You know about XR, right? It's
Sure.
AR, VR, and
extreme reality.
I think XR stands for all three or all two. No, all three. AR, VR. There's a third one. I can't remember what it is. Extended reality. Yeah, XR. There you go. So there you go. Just something to point out. And I think on Friday I'll go on my little rant about another rant on the COVID situation because the celebrity doctor, board certified physician, and radio personality Dr. Drew got COVID-19 and he's a Daddy Fauci guy. You listen to Fauci. That's what he says about Fauci all the time. But he got it and he got treated and he's furious at California and the health workers and all that for locking everything down. So I'll go on a little rant on that later. But, little break from the Ronas, especially today when our Capitol building is burning.
Yeah. Okay, well, no new updates on the Capitol thing. We'll be keeping an eye on it. Last little thing I'm seeing on Twitter here, House and Senate sessions in recess after protests led to Capitol lockdown. No kidding, they're in recess. A little detail here, Senate leader Mitch McConnell said that overturning the 2020 presidential election result would, quote, damage our republic forever.
Isn't that what they wanted?
That right. Well, that's interesting because that point is being made on both sides of that argument. They're saying not overturning the election, would damage our republic forever, and now Mitch McConnell's saying that doing it would damage our republic forever. So I don't know. You're getting the same story on both sides in opposite directions.
Yeah, I don't know. This whole thing seems pretty ridiculous and staged and. Part of what the CIA whistleblowers were saying last year were that they want to destroy the confidence in the elections in the United States. You think maybe they successfully did that this year or this last few months?
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing that has been done this year.
Yeah, so the CIA have been out saying that for a while now. So
yeah,
there you go. Stay on the narrow path, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
Politics is not going to save you.
Don't let a party or a politician pull your strings for you. They have their own agendas, and it's almost certainly not with your best interest in mind. Yep. Okay, folks, is that it? You ready to land this plane?
Yep.
Okay.
Ready to go.
Okie dokie. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. We'll be back on Friday, December 8th. I think that'll be
January 8th, but December 8th is cool too. Whatever timeline you're on.
Stuck in December, man. January 8th. January 8th, 2021. We'll be back somewhere between noon and probably closer to noon. Pacific Standard Time.
We do have an interview planned that day as well with I'll spill the beans, people listening. We have a interview with Tim Alberino scheduled.
Oh yeah, that's great. We haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah, so
he's been a busy boy.
He has. He wrote a book. I think he told us he was writing a book the last time he was on a few years ago, and I think this is the book.
Well, that's great.
He was talking about.
So there you go. January 8th, 2021. We'll be on around noon. We'll be probably doing a little bit of a mix between a shorter news talk and then a interview with Tim Alberino. So don't miss it. Be here or be square.
You want to say square?
Yes. Okay. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. Thanks to all of our producers. Again, we can't do the show without you. And if you out there want to rebel, take your own media into your own hands. Take some responsibility for the way that media is being propagated nowadays. And you can do that by becoming a producer like producer Amanda, Christina, Jacqueline, Zane, the Sec Doc, Renee, Saul, Nathan, Cynthia, Sylvan, Vladimir, Ralph, and eBay Seller. Thank you so much. You can do that by going to patreon.com/CCNT, patreon.com/CCNT, or canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support. Everybody loves waffles.
That's right. Everybody loves waffles. And I won't go into an advertisement for waffles right now. But there's other ways you can support the show. If you're an artist, you can create some art, show related please, and you can send those to canarycryradio@gmail.com. Or if you're a musician or a jingle maker or whatever you do, you can send that over to canarycryradio@gmail.com and we'll feature it on the show. Happy birthday again to producer Grace. And thank you to Jade Bouncerson for the timestamps. Now, you can also support the show by leaving ratings and reviews. Very important. We get ratings and reviews. Again, it's all about those algorithms, folks. So please go to Apple Podcasts and leave a rating and a review. Let people know why you love the show so much. And if you haven't done it yet, now's your chance. Go ahead and hit that like button wherever you're watching this. If you're watching live, that helps us out a lot as well. And other than that, you can share the show. You know, you got friends, you got family who are starting to wake up to the fact that the world is not what it seems. And you can introduce them to the show, send them an episode, and whatever. We'll be happy to help them along in that journey, trying to figure out just what's going on in the world. And if you need any other instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to them, you grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right, folks. Just ask Noah. All right. Well, we'll be keeping an eye on see what else happens today in the Capitol. But, Gons, any last words?
Jesus is God.
It's true.
It's true. All right, everybody. There you go. You heard it here. Remember, we'll be back on January 8th, sometime around noon p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And that's just about it. So make sure to tune in then. But until then, think outside the cage.
Call that.
I tried to tell you. You can't handle the truth. Stop this progress before it is too late.
Better, bigger, tastier.
We should invite fewer people to be born.
They are scum. A man and a woman.
Everybody loves waffles.
Sinful generation!
We will launch a new age.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up. Leave the bird alone. I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Little guy. Little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
open his hands to the Father who lived us up. Jesus, I'm yo-yoed to you. You've hurt yourself to me, but your burden is life and desire. No pass and nothing. Every creature will bow the knee in one place and one accord. We await the coming of the Lord Most High. Daily sanctifying His bride. I'm yo-yoed to you. You've hurt yourself to me, for your burden is light and desire. Oh Lord, soften this heart of stone. Lord, give us eyes to see those in need of a truth. Lord, give us ears to hear through falling out like tears. Lord, give us words to speak. Make us humble and weak. Let living water flow to let America know.
Pot, that's where I started.
Light up a huge blunt, a joint. Give everybody
magic
mushrooms. Smoke. The CIA, I mean, lots of intelligence agencies have tested secretly dosing communities. LSD.
Psychoactive pills should be covertly administered.
Just put me on some, I don't know.
Give you a shot in the butt.
Fluoride, oxytocin. Get a chemical hug.
I did dabble, some of that robot crack. I know what it's like.
It's a lethal recipe for disaster. You need help.
If you're a pharmacist, you need to repent.
All right, weird.
Fun fact, I believe it was another fun fact. Fun fact. Another fun fact.
Brings me back to my Screamo days.
Don't even get me started on bidets, man. Bidets, man. Bidets, man. I'm telling you, you were living the life, man. Bidets, man.
It's a bidet. Don't get me started.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
People, I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo. I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. You, yeah, you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on.